a warm welcome to our special guest artist, beatboxer, vocal collage, lyrical acrobatics, D. Cross.
You don't know me, but you. Sounds. Heartbeat. Drum beat. Heartbeat. Cross nurtured. Free your spirit. Let the God on you shine, 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 you shine, you shine.
Sophomore biochemistry major. Give it up one time for versatility, y'all. Abigail Pierre. You don't know me, but you will. I am tonight's sacrificial poet. In the slam tradition, the sacrificial poet is the one that goes first. No matter how professional you are, No one ever wants to go first. It's my job to teach you how to be an audience member, right? We're decentering Western notions of audiencing. You are not to be quiet. You are not to remain calm. You are to make noise. You are to take your cell phones out, put the ringer off. We can compromise. You will take pictures. You will record. You will make everyone super jealous that they're not here, and you are. You will hashtag Living Word Project SHU about it. When you see your friend's name, your beloved, your bestie, your BFF, you will make a tremendous amount of noise. You will hoop, you will holler, you will carry them all the way to the microphone. If someone says something that moves you, you will let them know. You will affirm them. You will snap for them.
Tell them about it.
You will, I know that's right, all about it. When they're finished, your applause will carry them back to their seat and let them know they did a good job. Now, what we're doing here, reading some poetry, some stories, a dance, a song. It sounds simple, right? It's not easy. Simple and easy are not the same. We have a mutuality. Can I count on you?
Yeah.
Can I count on you? Yeah. All right, let's start this off. This piece is dedicated to the Reverend Forrest Pritchett. It was inspired by a prompt that he gave the faculty that were presenting at the first annual Martin Luther King Symposium last year. And the prompt was, what would Dorothy Day, Mahatma Gandhi, and Jesus do in 2019? So this piece is a meditation of what would Jesus' experience be like in America had he been alive right now, 2019? Would he endure some of the things that his people endured? What might that experience be like? All right. You ready? The gospel according to you and you, you and you, you, you and you. Or 2019 American Jesus. This just in, heartbreaking news. There was supposed to be a celebration for baby Jesus' born day. The 3 wise men didn't make it. There was a travel ban imposed from certain countries in the East. Their gifts were confiscated. The TSA workers kept the gold. There was a government shutdown. Working without pay clouds your judgment. Jesus would grow up seeing his mother Mary sink in and out of a deep depression. She and Joseph worked tirelessly to make ends meet, shamed for going to work too soon because the U.S. has no maternity leave policy, and 6 weeks postpartum is all they could afford. Like all children, he grows up so fast. Terrified of prophesizing statistics, she is scared for her son every time he walks out that door. As a young man, Jesus would be detained on the side of the road, interrogated with his burnt bronze skin and woolly hair. He'd tell the police he was the Son of God. The Son of God? The Son of God. Prove it? They demand to see ID. Him with his 12 friends gathering just looked suspicious. Hashtag biblical Barbara called the cops on them. Peter would be like, we're just breaking bread, man. The police report would describe their behavior as wilding. Jesus would be a community organizer trying to get all the poor people to mobilize. Somebody snitched. accused of disrupting the peace. He'd be held up in holding because he couldn't afford bail, vow of poverty and such. He had a record, see? He got pinched for the destruction of property. You remember overturning the tables in the temple? Because of preaching during leisure time, he was accused of rousing the prisoners, thrown into solitary confinement. Guards tease, only the Holy Spirit could visit you now. Today, Jesus would still be a carpenter, his hands calloused. He'd smell of sawdust. He participated in vocational certification, finally exonerated and released with his training. He'd start a nonprofit building shelters for the homeless. Unless, of course, they end up cutting continuing education programs, in which case, then he won't. When traveling to present at the Habitat for Humanity annual conference, he's held at the airport. His name is on the no-fly list. They confiscate his passport. He doesn't understand the meaning of the word borders. He understands the concept of kingdom, though. Have you ever met a carpenter? He'd have to be strong to carry that heavy cross and the burden of proof. We'd be posting Insta stories while he's dragging the cross down Pennsylvania Avenue. Simon had to be compelled to get involved because Jesus must have been guilty of something, right? And his hair is long. Meanwhile, on Facebook, we're checking ourselves in as safe. #blessed. And when Jesus would be nailed to the cross, we'd say, Pontius Pilate isn't perfect, but we have to keep the empire together now. When they let him down, they leave his body uncovered in the street for 6 hours. His mother cradles him and tries to revive him. And she starts praying because the insurance company will say crucifixion is a pre-existing condition. It was prophesized after all. She's screaming, somebody do something! This is my son! They put his body in a cold, damp place like a cave. It was the women who first came and learned of his resurrection. And the men proceeded to mansplain that a resurrection happened, while the women watched Christ as he disappeared into heaven. In 2019, Jesus would be a refugee, an immigrant in his own land, leading the people to escape persecution only to be denied asylum. Jesus would tell us he is the Son of God, and we wouldn't believe him. He doesn't have as many #followers as Kendall Jenner. We tell Jesus that walking on water isn't a marketable skill. There's no money in miracles. The money is in making the people just stay hoping for it. In 2019, Jesus would be in Flint, Michigan, turning corrosive water into water. And that would be a miracle. He would turn fish less radioactive, and no one would eat the bread because we're all watching our carbs. We count carbs, but not body counts. Instead of raising Lazarus from the dead, he would try raising 20 tiny first graders from Sandy Hook, and it almost wouldn't work. And people would drag him on Twitter for this #epic fail, because the first graders, they didn't want to come back. They cried, we want to stay in heaven. The cost of living is too high, Jesus. Jesus. Would be heartbroken because he loved the little children. Shattered. This is the point where he looks up to heaven and asks about us. Father, why have they forsaken me? The moral of this story is, Jesus is here. Aren't we all the child of God? Aren't we? Isn't it every day we perform a miracle? Just getting through it.
You don't know me, but you will. I love language and words and all that they can do. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. The Baal Shem Tov tells the story of a young man in the village who was illiterate and did not know any of the words to the prayers. Instead, he went out to the woods and to the water, and he recited the alphabet over and over again. Dear God, he said, I am giving you all the letters. Please arrange them into the right orders so that I can pray to you. And God responded, these are the most acceptable prayers because they come from your heart. Some words about words. Gracious words are like honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healthy to the body. Death and life are in the power of the word, and those who love it will eat its fruits. Rash words are like sword thrusts, but the words of the wise bring healing. And a gentle tongue is the tree of life. May these words be a tree of life for all who ask for it, for its ways are ways of righteousness, and its paths are paths of peace. I have stored up your words in my heart. Bind these words upon your hand and make them frontlets before your eyes. Write them upon the doorposts of your home and upon your gates. Let the words of justice flow like a mighty stream. Let the words of peace fill the earth as the waters fill the sea. The grass withers, the flower fades, but the words will stand forever. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. Vayehi l'ratzon imre pi egyon libi lifanecha Adonai tzuri v'goali Adonai tzuri v'goali.
You don't know me, but you will. I am still figuring out my faith. In the name of the Father and of the Son and the Holy Spirit, I don't know where to put my hand, and I look to my parents trying to see the head, shoulder, chest. Am I doing this right? Years pass, and I'm talking with this strange bracelet necklace thing in my hand. They say, our Father who does the art in heaven. What are we even saying? How do I even do this? Do I move my hand every time I hear the word amen? I think I'm getting the hang of this. Am I doing this right? Years pass, and I get the thought. The first instance that I hear that idea, I want to be a priest. Where does this come from? I don't know. Time passes and I find myself trying to fit my finger in this bowl in the wall and getting a knee on the floor. Am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? Confused, I'm sitting in these pews with these questions in my head, and shh! My mom points to the man in the front, the priest up there. Yeah, that guy. I want to be him, but she shushes me. She tells me, listen, pay attention. Move on from there, we have Kids for Christ. Sure, it's great to play and be with all these kids, but what's that thing we just did? Praise and worship? Am I saying the right words? Does my hand go here? Does it go there? Am I doing this right? Confused, I hear it again. I want to be a priest. Confused, I tell my parents, confused as they are, they make their rounds to their friends, and the word gets out. It's not just in me, but then I hear it, not from within, but I hear it from someone. Oh, so you're the son that wants to be a priest. Yeah, I guess. Well, I will pray for you. Okay. Confused out of my mind. Prayer, what is that? That thing that I've been imitating people doing all my life. Their words, their actions. Who do you imitate for prayer? These questions and so many more go unanswered, and I just smile. Thanks. I don't know what to respond to that. These questions keep hounding me in my little child life, but I gotta throw them aside, because I'm a big shot now. I'm in middle school. So, these questions are put aside, and I never dwell on them, and reality hits. I ain't no big shot. I'm a freshman in high school, and I'm the smallest shrimp in this school. And I'm scared out of my mind, trying to figure out, what do I do? What's that over there? That building, that small room in this school, a chapel? I heard that before. I think I know what that is. Let me take a seat. And I'm in there, and I'm sitting, but there's no one else there. Okay, is this prayer? How do I do this? Who do I imitate? Who do I follow? And I sit in the silence, and I pray. And for that moment of silence, that small moment, I feel some peace. But time moves on, and I keep going on, and upgrade from kids, now I'm Youth for Christ. All right, teaching more about Jesus. All right, he has a plan for me. He loves me. Well, this is cool, but why? How? What are all these questions and more are still going unanswered, but I get a better sense of prayer. How can I talk with God? This little concept just evolves throughout the years, and coming out of the chapel as a sophomore, I see this priest. I've seen him around school, and he just goes, "Hey, Brian, you ever think about becoming a priest?" Yeah, I guess, sure, great, come on. Gives me all these pamphlets, shows me a website, books, so many things. I'm overwhelmed. I'm panicking inside, because another thought enters my head. I don't want to be a priest. I want what everyone else is having. A girlfriend, someone to do all these lovey-dovey, dumb romance things that I find so awesome. I don't know why, maybe because I don't have it, but that's what I want. And I just tell the priest, okay, thanks, and I run. I ignore him for a year. I want a girlfriend. That's what I want. I don't want to be a priest. But high school's almost over. Senior year's coming around the corner. Here I am at this conference for a weekend, and they got talks and cool praise and worship. All right, I know that stuff. But then I hear, not the question I've been hearing most of my life, but I hear, Brian, so how's the girlfriend? I'm like, good one, I don't have one. But is that really what I want? The question that has followed me so long in my life rattles in the back of my head. Do you want to be a priest? Am I going to be a priest? Do I want a girlfriend? What do I want? What do I want? These questions are still unanswered. But what's that? Oh, we're at the this conference and we're gonna pray, not one knee, but two, as I take the time to look at you, my God. Now having a greater sense of prayer, I make this my prayer. Lord, what is your plan for me? Silence. That peace that I felt so long ago, I feel it again. Amongst the 500 people in that room, it's just me and God. And we don't have to say anything. Beautiful as it is, prayer is coming to an end. Before I could really get up on my 2 feet, I hear it. I don't hear it from other people around me. I don't hear it within my head, but I hear it in my heart. A voice that says, Brian, come to me. That moment that I've longed for so much, to see that girl pop open that ring box and propose, I never got it. But in that moment, I felt something strange. I felt as if God was proposing to me. Yes, Lord, yes, God, I love you, I will follow you. Tears flooding my face, smiles that goes on for miles, an overwhelming joy in my heart that just can't be stopped. Yes, God, I love you. Senior year's coming to an end. I'm signing up for seminary, studying to be a priest. My friends asked, yeah, I guess, like, nice. Don't know where to go from there, but here I am, entering seminary, and I go back to my childish days. I'm looking at the people who are entering with me, and I see them before the school year even starts. They're asking, oh, so who's your favorite pope? Remember when Saint so-and-so said that? My favorite Bible verse. I don't know that stuff. I can't tell you my favorite pope. I don't know this. I am not ready. And then it clicks. I don't want to be a priest. So many frustrations, it's led up to all this time, but all this confusion stops. No, Brian, I'm sitting down. I'm in this confessional telling this priest before the year even starts, I can't do this. I'm not able to do this. I'm not smart enough to do this. No, Brian, this is your journey. Don't look to the people around them. Don't look to your parents. This is between you and God. The calm that I felt those years ago comes back in my heart. A year passes, another year goes. This year I'm studying my butt off, trying to keep my head above the water, but I'm at peace. Confused on where my future will go, what other ups and downs will come my way. I don't know if I want to be a priest. I don't know where God is taking me, but I know one thing now. God wants me here. All that I do, all that I have, all that I am, it's not for me, but it's for Him. And with that, may God be praised.
You don't know me, but you will. I am a loving soul. Nothing matters when you feel loneliness inside. Pain was written all over my face at one point. Didn't know what to do, didn't know what to say, but I couldn't hide it. All I knew that I wanted this all to go away. There used to be nights where I used to dream of a perfect life, where I was at peace, when I felt understood, and I felt accepted. I needed everything that came with love, and I still do. I was so angry at the world, so I blamed her and him and all of them for my hurt. But through art, music, I found my answer. I started to see my truth. I started to see my purpose because I found a friend. When life wasn't looking right, when I felt dead inside, he was there beside me. When people turned their backs, when my days were looking black, he was the one holding me. Now my heart is filled. It is so filled of only him. And all I can do is thank him. He makes my life complete. I owe him everything. I found my new sense of happiness through my friend. When I didn't feel no love, when I counted myself out, he shined light on me. When darkness was entering, when I found myself falling, super supportive, he caught me. I can't help but to have a glow on my face. I am protected because I know he is there, and all I can do is thank him. His love helped me find a deeper love inside of me. I found a new beginning because of my friend. He even pushed the clouds away so I could notice the people who won't go anywhere or leave me here somewhere drowning. He pointed me to Bethlehem, and then on the way met Adara, Saul, and Brit, and then Manny with the tunes, and somebody with the vocals, and Zach with the dripping swag group. Yellow Blue.
Yellow blue. Hey.
Now the fight isn't over yet. Life is a journey with nothing but ups and downs. But since I'm still breathing and time is moving, I guess I gotta keep living. I still find myself wanting to go back in the past, though. Escaping in my head, not wanting to get out of bed. Sometimes I still find tears on my pillow after a lonely night, just wondering why won't people treat me right. As I stand here in front of you guys, I can feel my heart in agony because I know someone close to me is going away soon. But the storm may be here, but I gotta keep pushing. Heartbreak doesn't last forever. I have to keep my hands writing, my mind dreaming, and just love. And faith. I gotta have that faith. Faith that things will work out for me, and my friend will always have me. See, he's my everything because he gives me everything. Everything I do out of love. And I love because of God. My friend, God. Thank you.
If you could look inside your program for a translation for the next piece.
You don't know me, but you will. I am the pride of hard-working Peruvian immigrants. Soy yo, pero cuando estoy con Dios, soy suya. Siendo suya significa que puedo experimentar momentos de felicidad, pero también de tristeza y frustración. Siendo suya significa que me critico constantemente sobre cómo puedo ser mejor para él, sobre cómo puedo cumplir con las expectativas que creo en mi cabeza. Siendo suya significa que no siempre cumplo con esas expectativas. Desde que entendí lo que significa ser católica, no he parado de intentar alcanzar la perfección. Perfección, perfección, perfección. Es gracioso, tú sabes, pensar que yo puedo alcanzar la perfección. Yo sé que no soy perfecta, pero ¿por qué trato tanto de ser perfecta en los ojos de Dios? ¿No se supone que debe amarme y aceptarme a pesar de mis defectos e imperfecciones? A veces me encuentro orando y mirando al cielo con la esperanza de escuchar a Dios decir: oye, ya casi estás ahí, sigue adelante. Pero ¿a dónde se supone que debo ir? Este trayecto parece interminable. Creo que he hecho todo lo que podría hacer para ser una mejor católica, leo la Biblia, rezo, voy a la iglesia cada domingo. Padre, Hijo, Espíritu Santo. No me siento cerca de Dios. ¿Estoy haciendo algo mal? ¿Soy lo suficientemente católica? La verdad es que sí estoy haciendo algo mal. Las expectativas que creo en mi cabeza, la autocrítica, están lastimando mi relación con Dios y conmigo misma. Me preocupo más de la católica que quiero ser, que me olvido de apreciar la católica que ya soy. Tomó tiempo antes de que aprendiera esto. Dios solo habla en palabras de aliento. Cuando te dices a ti mismo, no soy suficiente, mis esfuerzos no valen nada, te estás diciendo mentiras. Mentiras, mentiras y mentiras. Porque Dios nunca diría eso. Él te hizo y te ama. A ti, a ti, a ti, a ti. Él te ama a ti. Cuando te encuentras preguntando, ¿soy lo suficientemente católica o católico? La respuesta es que eres suficiente para Dios. Tiempo. Toma tiempo entender esto, pero una vez que lo haces, todo cae en su lugar. Deja que tu fe sea tu escudo y la verdad de Dios sea tu espada. Protégete de esas mentiras que escuchas en tu cabeza y a tu alrededor, porque eres suficiente. Eres amada y amada por Dios.
You don't know me, but you will. I am, well, wishing you well as I journey through Earth's hells. Karma comes, whether it's at daytime or your nightmares. Life's not fair. Who told you that you should fight fair? Fight or flight stairs. I got death surrounding me. Terrorism in the news, my conscience pounding me. My kind getting killed, it takes a lot out of me. The towers that fell, they took it out of me. Still, I got faith in my aura field, and I have a chance to heal. Self-empowerment in a world that's hungry and empowerment. Hours spent reflecting. I'm learning to be vulnerable. Reaping my old self's ashes, like this was Chernobyl. I swear I'm not nuclear. Energy I do radiate. Love from above. I can't vibrate with hate. And yet still, heart's broken. Pockets broke, I broke silence. As an outcast who wears a cast and builds promises. Two faces. Mad and sad with these masks, masses all perish through violence, lives lost taught, lecture dominance. I've seen signs to religion and sciences. No profanity, but we a cursed species. Live 3D, my flow from a deep sea. I'm like the drug addict, rap's a bad habit. Murder and injustice, yeah, I'm back at it. The universe speaks to my words, mathematics. They won't be predicted, rap past it. I'm like Titanic sinking in the Atlantis. Beyond the world that has its pearls, don't panic. Time is my mentor. My life is meant for this mental shift. I spit the gist, I would have God gas at it. Planes crash, walkers crash, rip riots. Governments tax like backstreet pirates. And everything you've been told or taught might have been a lie. Since you've been alive to the day that you die. Time to transcend, evolve or die. My third eye's IQ has hit bird's eye view. Time saver, rhyme data, tick data. Say the angles I approach you insane. I engineer verses in vain. I'm rapping different because I don't practice different. I knew one day that they would have to listen. Are we moving forward or are we backwards? What if Adam and Eve were atoms? We evolved the need for us to go and believe in a God. And I facade, but then I asked the creator, why do I think these thoughts as a teenager? Prodigy of Moses or Mozart with mosaic rhyme schemes of my own part. And anytime I think out this world to get grounded, forcing my edge yourself to be grounded. Dense dimension problems, not to mention quantum limits, and it's all out of my founders. Politics, economics, and atomics. Plague of mankind is worse than bubonics. Through sonics, harmonic, phonics, I aim to reach all my deep promises. Love less, rise to the likes and comments. Divided continents, divided erotic consciousness. Minds know, number sober, your world order, made of borders, law and order, the exhorters, hot topics, bombs dropping, stocks popping, lightning strikes, lightning nights, angel flights, 10 commandments, my casket, like bandit, heart attacks and attacks by terrorists. People still kill, yet others climb Everest. Truly my intellect versus instinct. My imagination needs a pencil. Then I hung when I'm hungry for those who are targets. Now you will see who's gonna go the farthest. Now look at what you started, you my target. We can't just be starving because we fell from the garden. Belucci came in the game, saw all this carnage. Darn it, look at what I started. Look at what we started. Thank you.
You don't know me, but you will. I'm a potential cultural fusionist, and I will be singing a song for you today. It's a Sanskrit song, and this was this was really meaningful for Gandhi. He used to recite this as a prayer almost every day. So I think it was really appropriate for this occasion.
मन
opportunity.
You don't know me, but you will. I am excited and very proud to share my culture.
You don't know me, but you will. I am a soldier, physical and spiritual. God has always been in my life. My mother brought him to me through hushed prayers and the tracing of a cross on my forehead. I felt him as I struggled with self-harm. His love burned every cut, reminding me that, even through my pain, I'm never alone. I saw him at my dying uncle's bedside. I screamed and questioned why. Why would you ever let someone who never really grew up suffer so much? Yet I watched as he led a broken family to that bedside, singing peaceful hymns. I felt his empathy soothe my anger, allowing me to share in his last moments, allowing me to set aside differences. I feel him every time I don my U.S. Army uniform, as a rosary I keep under my flag on my left arm, right arm. Without him, this uniform is too big. I'm not enough alone. As a cadet, I see him as the shield of faith and the sword of the Spirit my mom used to put on me as a child. I find him as a prayer of strength on my lips when I struggle in training. God, it's so hard. God, I want it to end, but God, give me strength. He's present in the 7 Army values as selfless service, integrity, respect, and personal courage. The soldier fights the world's wars, but God fights in me.
Our next poet is Jonathan Garcia.
You don't know me, but you will. I am an empathetic soul. Is this what he wanted? I just can't decide. This idea of religion does not coincide. Do we trust that book and who it's written by? Once religion was something for which we had pride, now I struggle, as do many, to even decide whether he is my God. You see, my God is perfect, and he wouldn't allow for his children to be all judgmental and highbrow. You see, my God is the pillar of perfection. He encourages acceptance. For his sake, he chose to stay with the peasants. Not the perfect, not the rich, not afraid to dig a ditch, and died for humanity. So is he my God? I ask myself this every day: how many times and how many ways have I done what I preach? How many people do I teach? Because after all, he is my God. You see, today's religion isn't something we would gather for. So many of us feel it's more of a chore. All the hatred and judgment I hate to implore, but to go into a house meant for love, which people ignore. And maybe that's why a lot more people are turning away from God and leaving society sore. Fix it for my God. Are you Catholic or just a facade? I find it quite odd that we'd rather aim like a firing squad. I do not mean to prod. But honestly, can we say we believe when we sit there and receive his gifts and his blessings? Are we so naive? There's a lot going on that he didn't envision. We make the decision to choose the division of ourselves and our kind. Look in the mirror, make the change. Religion might not be something worth fighting for, but my God is.
You don't know me, but you will. I am grieved, but I am grace-filled. The day my baby died, I cried. I wept. I screamed. I died inside. A numbness that is hard to describe took over me, rose up inside my heart the day my baby died. I prayed the day my baby died, and every day before, that God would breathe his breath inside this wilting lily, sweet girl of mine. But Jesus chose another time, it seems. Was it too much to ask? Another day to hold her close, to hold her hand, to watch my lily grow, to crawl, to walk, and learn to talk, to watch her love and watch her learn from her mistakes. I am trying hard. I am trying hard to squeeze some learning from this pain, some honor, some glory, some song of praise. But I peek inside my heart and fear that all I hear is silence. I wait for spring, for signs of life that break through hard, dry soil. A shoot of green, a sprout of hope, some sign of new, of nascent hopes. Perhaps they're there, already there. I just can't see them rise behind the fog, this thick gray fog that fills my tear-filled eyes and sits like weight upon my heart. I wait to hear for sounds of hope, these distant songs of grace unfold. Perhaps they're there, already there. I just can't hear them through my own sobs, my howling sobs that fill my ears. I wait to taste a rest so sweet, a rest where I can slip to sleep and live a dream of joy and peace, where I can see you. But I wake to long, hard days, to emptiness, to searing pain, to fear, to loss of former days. And yet, I can't deny, no matter how hard I might try, no matter how much I should cry, that God is good, that God is good. And how should I, and how can I behold inside this broken heart of mine that you have plans, O Lord, and you have ways to bring forth glory and squeeze out praise like olives in an oil press. I walk through a valley so dark, and deep despair shackles my weary heart. But help me see that you are God and you are good, that light will soon pierce through this night, and gold will shine through tarnished place, and joy will push through pangs of pain, and dancing rise from dark low place, and God will rise in evil's face for good. The day my baby died, I cried. But not my girl. No, not my girl. She rejoiced by the Father's side. She cast earthly shell aside, put on crown, looked in the eyes of Jesus, Savior of her life. Jesus, her mama's very light. Jesus, her defender, right. Jesus, victor of this fight. Though I am crying, she is nigh. the very one who knows my strife, who healed her pain and gave her life, who placed her body in my womb, who made her cries, her hair, her bones, and sewed her sinews to my soul. Lord, this I know is not the way, and death won't have the final say. Like those at your tomb that day, one day I'll roll this stone away and see the way that your cross has made. Someday my baby, whole complete, walks toward me after all this time. Mama, Mama, here I am. You did not understand his plan, but he has built heaven our home, and he's defeated every foe, and death does not live here. He's held me with his nail-pierced hands, held me till we could meet again. He told me all about your life and how he'd led you to his light, how he'd held you close at night, how he'd seen the fight you fight, how he'd give you strength to rise through his blood and his wounded side. You see, my Savior has suffered, and he knows me. He has walked this road before me to bring redemption to a world that without cause rejected him because of our abiding sin. But on that cross, he gave his life. So through faith in his sacrifice, believers never really die. They just cross from life to life. The day my baby died, I cried. But I won't all day. And I won't all night. One day, I, Christ redeemed, will rise, and I will hold her by my side. And the Savior, he will say, it is finished. Death defeated. Daughter, enter now into eternal joy and life.
You may not know me, but you will. I'm the one that says thank you. Thank you so much for coming tonight, and especially thank you to all our performers. I direct our Institute for Communication and Religion, and we're inspired by Vatican II's call to work across religious lines with the spirit of prudence and charity. And so for the charity dimension, you're already seeing it. Our performers are sharing their gifts with us, and we're sharing our time and attention. And now for prudence, at least when I teach it to my core students, a few more are still here, not all students know that prudence is more of an intellectual virtue. And I like to talk about it as wisdom, but really kind of practical and applied wisdom. And so we're moving into the scholarly portion of our panel, where we'll get some wisdom from some experts from speaking on 3 different religious traditions. I'll introduce them in reverse order, so there's a super smooth transition into our first scholar. So speaking third on our scholarly panel portion will be Dr. Axel Takash. He is our newest member of the Department of Religion here at Seton Hall University, and he studies theopoetics. Our second speaker is Dr. Ashok Kaul. He's our special guest who came all the way from Banaras Hindu University in India to speak with us today. Yep, give him a round. He deserves a huge round of applause because he's been working hard for us all day. At 10 a.m., he recorded a podcast over at WSOU. At 2 o'clock, he was part of a panel on Kashmir, and now he's here today to talk to us about the content of the Human Project. And then our first scholar will be Dr. Gloria Thurmond. Dr. Thurmond serves on the Institute for Communication and Religion Steering Committee along with me, and she'll be teaching us about St. Pope John Paul II's teaching on art. I give you Dr. Gloria Thurmond.
I did not receive coaching on the beautiful lines that everyone has been speaking this afternoon, this evening, but I will use it anyway. That is, if you don't know this yet, hopefully you will before we're done. When asked to be a part of the panel and to speak about music, as a musician, singer-musician that is, I don't speak a lot about music, I just do music. So I thought that perhaps I should maybe look in another direction other than speaking about music. And I thought of a beautiful letter that was written in 1999 to artists by Pope St. John Paul II. And there is a line that he uses that I decided to use this afternoon to share my thoughts with you about artists. And that is the artist, image of God, the Creator. One of the many remarkable documents of Pope St. John Paul II's pontificate was his 1999 letter to artists. It exemplified the Pope's practice of engaging the world and of encouraging the pursuit of various avenues to the divine as part of the new evangelization. Further, it recalled the ancient understanding of beauty as an integral part to the spiritual life of humankind and as a name of God, while confirming the distinctly modern self-image of the Church as the unique preserve of the West's intellectual and cultural achievements. In the process of answering many questions about how the Church might engage artists and how artists might serve the Church, the letter raised deeper questions as well that are touched on but not systematically treated. My presentation this afternoon is a sharing and a reflection on the letter to artists by the Pope. As an undergraduate university student in his native Poland, the future Pope had a love for the theater, in which he was an actor and a playwright, while the focus of his formal studies was philosophy, literature, and languages. He had a very close affinity to artists, and later as Pope, in a letter to artists, he encouraged all artists to recognize that each had been entrusted with the artistic expression of the image of God, the Creator. When God called human beings into existence, he endowed them with the craftsman task of inventiveness. Through artistic creativity, human beings appear more than ever in the image of God. Accordingly, the more conscious artists are of the divine source of their gift, the better able they are to come to a full understanding of themselves and their divine vocation and mission. The Pope writes that artists of every age are captivated by a hidden power of sounds and words, colors and shapes, and through their inspired work, a sense of the mystery of creation which reveals its divine origin through the artist and through the artistic work. St. John Paul II continues by saying that it is in living that one establishes his or her relationship with being, with truth, with the good, and with the beautiful. Because the artist has a special relationship to beauty, it therefore can be said in the true sense that beauty is the vocation bestowed on the artist by the Creator himself in the gift of artistic talent. Accordingly, those who recognize their artistic vocation as poet, writer, sculptor, architect, musician, actor, and so on, have an obligation not to waste this talent, but to develop it, in order to put it at the service of their neighbor and at the service of humanity as a whole. He goes on to say that society needs artists just as it needs scientists, technicians, workers, professional people, witnesses of faith, teachers, fathers and mothers, who ensure the growth of the person and the development of the community by the means of that supreme art form, which is the art of education. Obedient to their inspiration in creating works both worthwhile and beautiful, artists not only enrich the cultural heritage of their community, they also render an exceptional social service in the interest of the common good. Artists who are conscious of their divine vocation and mission know that they must work without allowing themselves to be driven by the search of self-glorification or the craving for cheap popularity, and still less by the calculation of some possible profit for themselves. There is therefore an ethic and a spirituality of artistic service, which contributes to the life and the renewal of the people. The 19th century Polish poet Cyprian Norwid alludes to this fact when he declares that beauty is to enthuse us for work, and work is to raise us up. The divine breath of the Creator Spirit reaches out to human genius and stirs its creative power. The resultant inspiration produces an illumination which brings together the sense of the good and the beautiful, and it awakens energies of mind and heart, which enables it to conceive an idea and give it form in a work of art. Therefore, according to the Pope, every genuine art form is its own pathway to the inmost reality of the human being and of the world. It is therefore a wholly valid approach to the realm of faith, which gives human experience its ultimate meaning. In the Pastoral Constitution, Gaudium et Spes, the fathers of the Second Vatican Council stressed the great importance of literature and the arts in human life. They wrote, "They seek to probe the true nature of humankind, his problems and experiences, as he strives to know and perfect himself in the world, to discover his place in history and in the universe, to portray his miseries and joys, his needs and strengths, with a view to a better future." On this basis, at the end of the council, the fathers addressed a greeting and an appeal to artists. They wrote, "This world," they said, "in which we live needs beauty in order to not sink into despair. Beauty, like truth, brings joy to the human heart and is that precious fruit which resists the erosion of time and which unites generations." Personalizing his appeal to artists of the written and spoken word, of theater and music, of the visual arts, and the most recent technologies in the field of communication, St. John Paul II reminds these artists that, beyond functional considerations, the close alliance that has always existed between the gospel and art means that they are invited to use their creative intuition to enter into the heart of the mystery of the incarnate God, and at the same time, into the mystery of humankind. He reminds each artist that creation awaits the revelation of the children of God through art and in art. "This is your task," he says. "Humanity in every age, even today, looks to works of art to shed light upon its path and its destiny. Beauty," he continues, "is the key to the divine mystery and a call to transcendence." In his parting blessing, he writes, "Artists of the world, may your many paths, may your many different paths, all lead to the infinite ocean of beauty, where wonder becomes awe, exhilaration, and unspeakable joy." Thank you very much for listening.
You don't know me, but you know. also heaviness and burdens and crisis. When the positives collapse, and detection methodologies do not lead us to the truth. And truth, beauty, and goodness is eluded. Why should I go? I go back to my evolved past, those wonderful civilizations that has given us identified traditions, which we have ignored in the process of tyranny. Today is the moment that gave me that sense of understanding and well-being, that we have to identify those traditions in narratives, in poetry, poetry, music, performance, journey. After all, the essence of history is
It's off. Just press the button. Just take the mic off the stand.
Good evening. You may not know me, but you will. And actually, I've been inspired by the powerful poetry, use of the imagination and creativity to just briefly speak off my script to share a story about poetry that impacted me. About 12 years ago, I stumbled into an Islamic humanities course where I was introduced to the lovely poetry of the Islamic tradition, primarily in the Persian language. And the professor, the Muslim professor, asked us to perform as an exercise when we went home, something called Fatih Hafez, which is sort of the, in a way, divination, the bibliomancy of the book of love lyrics of Hafez al-Shiraz, the 14th century poet, who will be the subject of this brief presentation. And you're supposed to bring a question to the book of poetry and open it up, and the answer is supposed to be in the love lyric that it opens to. And 12 years ago, I started a master's program in Islamic studies with the hope of going into a PhD program. But I was sort of, wasn't really prepared for a PhD program, so I committed myself to taking as many classes, as many language courses as I could to get into the best program possible. So that meant I had no life. I studied every night. I took 6 classes, 2 language courses, and only reserved 1 night a week for social activities. For 2 years, I was like that, and I got to the point where I was wondering, is this really my life? I wasn't seeing anyone, I was single, I was just studying all night, doing nothing but studying, because I wanted to get into this best possible program. So I asked this question to the Book of Love Lyrics, opened it up, and I can paraphrase the verse that read, "This path of life, this path of suffering is narrow. The only salvation is a cup of wine in a book of love lyrics." And I kid you not, just that week I had just started the habit of having a glass of red wine every night. So there in front of me was the answer revealed to me from this book of poetry. The second couplet read, "The path of salvation is narrow, go alone." Despite the media and popular representation of Islam in recent decades, societies of Muslims and the various Islamic intellectual, and literary, and spiritual traditions historically have a rich, complex theory, one might even say theology, of the imagination. What modern dominant perceptions of Islam may have us believe and what media representation would convince us of is that Islam is a dry or unimaginative, legalistic and mechanical tradition in which the Quran and legal discourse, the Sharia, play not merely a primary role, but perhaps the only role in disciplining behavior in Muslims. This perception of Islam is unequivocally wrong and cannot be further from the truth. It is challenged by both historical and contemporary evidence. The contemporary evidence is found in local communities of Muslims from West Africa to South Asia, from North America to Iran, who continue to engage the Islamic tradition through poetry, music, and other forms of material art. But briefly today, I will focus on one example from the historical evidence. Al-Majaz Qantara al-Haqiqa, that is, in Arabic, metaphor is a bridge to reality. It is an Arabic literary axiom that became central to the Islamic theology of the imagination. Condensed in these three words, these three Arabic words, is the central thesis of the Islamic poetic tradition. Metaphorical language from the Quran to poetry in Arabic, Persian, Urdu, Turkish, and dozens of other Islamic languages. Metaphorical language conveys us, transports us, transfers us from this visible world, this seen world, to the invisible and unseen world of the real, to God, the real. In fact, this visible world is the metaphor that actively carries us to the unseen, invisible world of real truth. One famous Muslim philosopher mystic unambiguously stated, "The imaginal faculty and the world of imagination is the nearest to indicating the real. Hence nothing has truly attained unto the divine form except the imagination." Yes, the faculty of the imagination is able to access the real, as it were, to come into contact with God. In fact, the imagination participates, in a way, with God. It is a means whereby God gives us revelation. Without the imagination, we will live in ignorance of God, who would remain completely incomprehensible and unknowable to the intellect and to reason. It was thus the Muslim poet's special duty to reveal the uncreated absolute God to us in this created relative world. The poet was the tongue of the unseen, to use the nickname of the most widely read, widely memorized, recited, and copied Persian poet Hafez of Shiraz. A few couplets from one of his poems reads, "Come, for the rose-scattering veil of the seven partitions of the eyes, we have removed with elegant writing from imagination's workshop. If not for the imagination, your mouth would not be within my constricted heart. May no one be like me in search of the impossible image." Indeed, the poet was in fact performing the impossible, bringing God into the world via their carefully crafted poetic images and metaphors. The poet was the bridge between the unseen world and the seen. As Hafez, the author of these couplets, suggests, his imagination and poetic metaphors gives vision to the physical eyes of those listening, reading, or reciting them. His poetry unveils the eyes, and the imagination conveys the vision of the real, God, into this world of metaphor. The theology of the imagination is illustrated best and quite appropriately in a famous miniature from around 1526, painted by a certain Sultan Muhammad. This imager is depicting another famous couplet by Hafez, the tongue of the unseen. "The angel of divine loving mercy raised the pitcher of a pleasurable life, and from its draught poured rose-hued wine upon the cheeks of houri and fairy." This miniature depicts in beautiful detail the relationship between the unseen, invisible world and the seen, visible world. The visible world reflects the invisible world, and the poet Hafez, through his imagination, bridges them both, as we'll see. The miniature can be divided into three planes: a lower, an upper, and a middle plane. The first plane is the ground level, wherein the revelers of the wine party take pleasure in the delights of the world of metaphor. There's music, poetic recitation, drunkenness, and inside the house, the cupbearer pouring out more wine, the source of drunkenness, a state associated with Sufi mystics. The lower plane, the plane of metaphor, reflects the higher plane, the third plane above, as we can see, the third plane above. As we can see there, the angel of loving mercy, Rahmat, a singularly important divine name, are themselves enjoying the pitcher of wine, the rose-hued wine. The party below is reflecting the party above.
The party below is reflecting the party above. Earthly wine and heavenly wine, however, come together in the imagination of Hafez. And this, of course, is found in the very middle plane. There, Hafez, the poet, resides. Hafez, the tongue of the unseen, is the bridge, the liminal space of the middle plane, the plane of the imagination. There, with his book, perhaps love lyrics he is composing, perhaps the Quran, perhaps itself a symbol for the book of the world, for the whole world is a divine revelation in the Islamic tradition. As it's stated in the Quran, we will show them our signs in the horizons and in themselves. And wherever you turn, there is the face of God. There, with his book and wine glasses, imagination is at work composing poetry. He resides in the middle space, the bridge between the unseen and seen world, the upper and lower, all three coming together seamlessly in this magnificent miniature. And yet, other figures share this middle plane with Hafez. They, together with Hafez, are the friends of God. The saints, in Arabic, the term is wali, awliya. They act as intermediaries between the real world and the metaphorical world. One of them is standing on a balcony, and he appears to be lowering, or perhaps he is raising a pitcher of wine. Lowering or raising a pitcher of wine to someone who is standing just outside the gate. In fact, the lower plane technically has two layers. Those revelers within the gate and house, the realized ones enjoying the wine of love, and the wayfarers on the outside, those journeying. The saints up top, the friends of God, are communicating with those outside and down below. They lower the wine of inspired love, guidance, and wisdom back to the wider human community. But they're also raising, or a technical term, sublimating, raising the mundane worldly experiences, actions, and attachments of the lower world of metaphor into their divine meaning. All actions, images, and experiences in this world, this phenomenal world of metaphor, have divine meaning and purpose in them, if you have a heart and imagination to understand. The miniature leaves us unsure if it's being lowered or raised, because in fact the poet, the friends of God, did both. They conveyed real meaning in the world of metaphor and transported the world of metaphor into real meaning. This is the power of the imagination, of poetry, and metaphor in the Islamic religious tradition. The imagination finds its source in the Prophet Muhammad, through whom God revealed the Quran via the faculty of the imagination. Later Muslim poets draw from the wellspring of the divine imagination opened up by the Prophet. Indeed, one Muslim poet, Nizam Ganjavi, asserts, poetry is the mirror of the visible and the invisible, the curtain of mystery, the shadow of the prophetic veil. The previously mentioned Muslim philosopher mystic writes elsewhere, so when God manifests in this world of imaginal existence, that is when God creates this world, God does so according to the reality of the imagination, not according to God's essence, which is real. Without the imagination, God would remain hidden, undisclosed. In this way, the poet participates in the divine creative imagination through which the world was brought forth and from which divine revelation comes. We can conclude with the full lyric. The doorway of the palace of the Magians was swept and watered. The master was seated, having greeted with peace both old and young. The cup pourers had all tightened their belts for serving him. But from the loosening of turbans, an umbrella was set up against the clouds. The shimmering of the cup and goblet veiled the light of the moon. The radiant cheeks of the young Magians had cut off the way of the sun. The bride Fortune in that hidden bridal chamber, with thousands of hidden graces, curled her tresses and poured rose water over the petals of the rose. The angel of divine loving mercy raised the pitcher of a pleasurable life, and from its draught poured rose-hued wine upon the cheeks of Hori and Fairy. From the fervor and drunken uproar of the sweetly mannered beauties, the sugar was broken, the jasmine spilled, the flute was playing. I greeted the master, and with a smiling face he replied, "O drag drainer, indigent, wine-smitten one, who would do what you have done out of feebleness of intention and judgment, to leave the treasure house and pitch your tent in these tavern ruins? I'm afraid that they'll not let you be united with awakened good fortune, because you fell asleep in the arms of sleeping fortune. Come to the wine house, Hafez. I can present to you 1,000 ranks of those whose prayers have been answered."